And joining us is Mr. S. Krishnan. He is the Secretary of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Mr. Krishnan, welcome to DD India News Hub. Now, for the benefit of viewers watching this broadcast, may I begin by asking you for your thoughts on the rationale behind the electronics component manufacturing scheme?
The basic rationale behind the scheme is to increase the total extent of value addition in the electronics industry in India and to plug India into the global value chain of electronics. The global value chain of electronics is complex and goods cross several international boundaries before they are finally manufactured. Different parts, different components are manufactured in different countries, and the final assembly takes place in other countries. Initially, through the two PLI schemes, the PLI for large-scale electronic manufacture, that is for mobile phones, and the PLI for IT hardware manufacture, and some of the other PLIs in the auto sector and so on, telecom sector and so on, they covered the final manufactured goods which are electronic in nature, electronic goods. Now, that ensures that in India, about 18 to 20% of the value addition takes place within the country in electronics. In the long term, this is not adequate because it means that only one stage, the final stage of production, is in the country, and it could easily ship out or go away somewhere else. There is a need to deepen the value chain. There's a need to increase the value addition, and that is possible only when more components are manufactured in the country. And this is typically the way that the development takes place of the electronics industries at other locations as well. So this is the second stage after the two PLI schemes have been done. Now, this is the second stage where the attempt is to increase value addition in the country by ensuring that more of the components are also made in the country. And that is what the electronic component manufacturing scheme attempts to do.
Right. And what more can you tell us about the investment applications you've received so far? And correct me if I'm wrong here. We are told the scheme has attracted the highest ever commitment of 22,000 crore rupees from a single player.
There are totally about, as you pointed out, yes, in one of the cases, it's a little over 21,000 crores. One of the players has committed. But on the whole, across the 12 segments of the scheme, divided into four sub-schemes, A, B, C, D, and E, actually 5 sub-schemes, we have totally 249 applications which have been received. And as was pointed out earlier, of the total expected investment of 59,350 crores, we've received commitments worth 1,15,351 crore. It's almost twice the expected amount. And likewise, the total production which we had targeted was 4,56,500 crore. And against that, the production is now committed to be 10,34,751 crore. Which is more than twice what was originally anticipated. And likewise, in terms of employment, against 91,600, it is 1,41,801 is the total employment which has been committed. And the investments are across the various components, as I already told you. The largest number of applications have come in the electromechanical components, which are various smaller components that go into various electronics devices. Then 43 applications have been received in the category of multi-layer PCBs, which are a very basic component for most electronics and are used in a range of subsectors in electronics, including mobile phones, including IT hardware, auto electronics, medical electronics, consumer electronics, and so on. Then at a higher end of PCBs, which are called flexible PCBs, there again we've received a fairly substantial number of applications. So the applications are distributed across the entire range. So we are very happy that the entire range of specific components that we have targeted and capital goods and materials which we have targeted is being met under the scheme.
Indeed, as you said, Mr. Krishnan, the scheme will see investments in SMD, passives, laminate, flexible PCBs, anodes and capital equipment. But talking about demystifying some of the key issues involved here, Mr. Krishnan, to begin with, could you throw some light on the differentiated incentives which the scheme provides to Indian manufacturers?
It is not differentiated incentives that it provides to Indian manufacturers. All manufacturers are treated alike. There is no differentiation there. It is only an assessment of where we are at present in a particular subsector, and each of the five subsectors that I spoke of carry slightly different types of incentives based on a number of factors, based partly on the proportion of initial investment to the turnover that you anticipate every year, the availability of such investments already in India, where a new line of investment has to be commenced or a new type of production which has never been done in India has to be brought in. So those are the kind of differentiations which have been made, and also on the level of the technology which is to be reached. So there's no differentiation based on the origin of where the investor comes from. The differentiation is based on the category or the nature of investment and the overall investment to turnover ratio that we expect, and also an assessment of the likely disability. The entire scheme was designed with considerable consultation with industry and all the stakeholders, and which is one of the reasons why the response has been so strong, because the stakeholders were well aware of how the scheme had been designed. It is very focused. It is on a limited number of items. It is confined to those areas where we think the chances of success are the best, and that is the basis on which this has been done.
And finally, Mr. Krishnan, if I were to ask you to take a step back and look at India's trajectory, as it were, how would you describe India's journey towards becoming Atmanirbhar, or self-reliant in electronics supply chain? Is India on course to becoming one?
See, I think the crucial thing, the question which should be asked, is that India will plug into the global value chain. As I said already, electronics has a global value chain, and we are not attempting to do every stage of it end to end in India. But what we are attempting to do is to deepen the value chain in India and also make it more resilient. And when we plug into the global value chain, it means that some of these components we would actually be exporting to other countries. It is not that we would just be importers, net importers of components. There are components in India which we will make, which won't necessarily go only into final products which are made in India. They would be exported as components themselves, because that is important to actually make sure that we are plugged into global value chains. There's a diversified global value chain, and we are protected in that fashion, and we become self-reliant in that fashion.
Mr. Krishnan, thank you for joining us on this broadcast. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.